Big Drive Energy Monday Winner Circle Edition combined with our Wednesday preview of this coming Torrey Pines. This is actually at Torrey Pines. Sorry for the title delay or the title issues in our last one. Sorry for the delay today. Little technical difficulties getting figured out where I was going to record this. I'm in my office at work. All good. We're going to talk about the Scottie Scheffler domination factor again. Patrick Reed winning on the LIV Tour. Plus, we'll preview Torrey Pines this upcoming weekend, the Farmers Insurance Open, give you our picks, and talk about Brooks Koepka being back on the PGA Tour, along with the insane story of Blades Brown from this past week. All right, let's tee it up. Big Drive Energy Monday. It's a sad boy Monday. It's a sad boy Monday. We can talk about our weekend real quick, but we got a lot to get into on the golf side. Oh, man, what a sad ending to our NFL season. It's just like it's over. I don't know if losing in the Super Bowl would have been less bad because the NFL season's over no matter what at that point. You know, I was trying to rationalize that in my mind and think, okay, well, if we lost in the Super Bowl, how would that feel? And how would I be coping with it or know that that was the last NFL game there was all year? We lost it, whatever. But now not even getting a chance, potential 2 more weeks of talking about our team and the Broncos and the excitement, but it's all over now. It's all over.
Yeah, it's a bummer. My voice sounds like dog shit. It was actually funny. I went to Whole Foods this morning and I hadn't talked to anyone all day yet, so I didn't know my voice was kind of gone. And I said something. I was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna fucking sound like dog shit on this podcast." So I apologize for everybody in advance. My voice is a little cooked. But yeah, just the come down of today it's so hard. Like such a fun weekend, going to the game, getting to hang out with you, getting to see a bunch of friends. And then here's Monday, so it was a fun run though, man. The season, they had a phenomenal year. I just was more disappointed, like in the fact that it felt like it would have been such a winnable game if Bo Nix was healthy. Like that's what really, if we would have just gotten shit on, 35-7, I wouldn't have cared really as much, but that game was so in our grasp if we could just add our starting quarterback.
Yeah, it felt like one of those games where felt like we should have won it, even the way it was presented, but then the snow took over and it just turned in such a mess and such a nightmare that it was like it almost didn't feel real the whole time it was happening. It was crazy being there with you. It was fun, obviously doing the tailgate, and it wasn't too bad, honestly. Like, thank God we didn't have the late game because that tailgate and that whole afternoon would have been an absolute mess. That would have been terrible. The game would have been terrible from the jump. And just the Broncos not being able to run the ball. I don't want to rehash it too much, but overall, having a backup quarterback I think the scariest thing that I keep diving into that makes my sadness worse is you just don't know. The last time they got the 1 seed and had playoff games at home was 2015, so it's 10 years, a decade since this happened. And it's not that you can't go to the Super Bowl or play in the Super Bowl if you're not the 1 seed, but it was one of those years where everything felt like it was adding up to be your year. And then one quarterback run to the left and it ruined everything. By the way, have you seen any of this stuff on Twitter that Bo Nix hurt his ankle in the locker room celebrating after? I know people could just be tweeting out bullshit, but at the same time, it's always some of that stuff that comes out, like the Ottawa goalie the other day and that shit, just like random shit that comes out that you don't know if it's true or not. But at the same time, we know how good teams are at keeping stuff under wraps. So it makes you kind of wonder, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, but I think that he definitely, you could tell he looked hurt when he was like doing his interview with Tracy Wolfson, and just all like, I definitely think he hurt himself on that play. But I told you this earlier this morning, and I think it stands true. It hasn't changed in the 3 hours, but I think the Seahawks are going to, I am going to bet on the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl by like 10-14. I think that they're going to win by more. I think they win by double digits. Like, the Patriots looked like shit yesterday. We turned the ball over twice, and we passed up a field goal and missed another field goal, and we still lost by 3 points. Like, their offense is not great, and Drake May has not been that great. Their defense is not that good either. We just had a fucking backup quarterback in. So, and then you look at the Rams and the Seahawks, they're both two complete teams, great offenses, great defenses, great running games, great quarterbacks, great wide receivers on both sides. And like, I mean, but let's be real. The Broncos, I think, are not, or the Patriots, I don't think, are on the same level as the Rams or the Seahawks. Like, that game was virtually the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Yeah, watching that game compared to what we watched in person at the stadium was like two separate sports. It was like they were playing a completely different game than we had watched for 3 hours in the snow. And granted, yes, the weather had a lot to do with that, but I think just in general, it felt so. I was watching that game like, oh, you can just complete passes, and oh, you can run for 7 yards at a time, and oh, like you can score a touchdown with a backup wide receiver or whoever's in there.
Oh, you go for 4th and 1 and you run it, and like, you're not trying to run a fucking play action screen to your wide receiver or to your running back. I'm sorry. But I will say though that snow games are probably one of the most elite fan experiences, like in my opinion, of all time in any sport. I don't think there's anything better than a snowy football game. When it was coming down, like, visibility was bad. They couldn't even see. I guess I heard that Will Lutz said after the game that they weren't far enough back behind the offensive line because they couldn't see the yardage markers. Like, and that's some stupid shit that you just, you can't do. How do you get that wrong? Like, that is one thing I will never understand, kicking field goals. Like, it is, you have one job. You have one fucking job, and you practice it all the time. And that's all. Like, when people are like, oh, well, kicking's like golf. It's like golf if all you had to do was hit a 120-yard wedge shot or an 80-yard wedge shot. Like, it's the exact same thing over and over and over again. The fact that NFL kickers are not better, and not everybody is like Cam Little or who's the kicker for the Cowboys?
Brandon Aubrey.
Like, and you give Will Lutz $5 million a year and you can't even kick a 55-yarder at altitude. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? So I'm not going to get reworked up about it, but kicking remains to me like the easiest job in the world, that you have no reason why you should miss these kicks. Like, there's the weather yesterday. Okay. Played a factor, but having said that, you practice it this often, like, it's fucking a routine. Like, it's not, we weren't asking you to kick from 65. Like, this shit just pisses me off. Like, oh, it's windy, aim a little to the left. How hard is that? Like, it blows my mind that these guys can't control this. Coming from a golfer, that they don't have the science of this down to control the spin, where they hit the ball. And I understand it's a game time thing. You're not always going to strike it perfectly, but it seems like all these kickers just go out there willy nilly fucking, oh, I hope I hit the center of the ball. Like, you look at a PGA Tour pro, hardly ever misses the center of the club face, and a football is fucking 12 times the size of a golf club. Yet these dudes can't kick their leg into the fucking middle of a football. It just is beyond, it's blasphemous to me that you make $5 million a year. And every time we've gone to training camp, the kicker's fucking off somewhere, like not even practicing, hitting like fake wedge shots, like practicing their golf game. Shit just, it infuriates me.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to go full scorched earth on the kickers today, which I'm fine with. I tweeted about it last night, and everybody started jumping on me that one of them got blocked, but still, you missed it. You missed the field goal. You missed the field goal. It's and hearing that. And did you also hear that Will Lutz has never kicked in the snow ever? That was his first ever
Yeah.
kick in the snow.
Well,
He
yeah,
played in
Sean
Denver.
Payton's like,
I know it's been great, but like we should probably get some of that work in.
yeah, I mean, Sean Payton does not consider the plays he's calling for snow because he's never coached in the snow. Like he's coached in a dome his entire career, and now all of a sudden, oh shit, like my dude can't make a cut at the 5 yard out or whatever. Like he just did not take any of that into consideration, and all this shit just keeps coming out about Will Lutz that furthers the point of why did they sign this guy to a 3-year, $15 million deal. Like you can't tell me there's not a college kicker out there that you could get in the 4th or 5th round that has all the capability, if not more, and would make much less money. But of course, Sean Payton he's got his fucking New Orleans boys that he's got to bring along with him. And then he makes one game-winning kick from like 40 yards this year. And then they immediately the next day sign him to a new deal. Like it's fucking frustrating. And I really do feel like Sean Payton got out coached like that. It felt like Vrabel was more aware of the situation of what the Patriots, what was in the 4th quarter. They intentionally basically rolled over on 3rd down and just to hand us the ball back, like fucking take it. And their punter was a goddamn joke, but we still that throw by Stidham was just a prayer that was nowhere near Marvin Mims because Mims couldn't fucking run in the snow either. So I'm done rehashing all this shit. It was an elite experience. I had a blast. And it's funny because as a sports fan, you go into games with a mindset of I'm not going to get mad. Like the Broncos are, down their starting quarterback. We haven't been here in 10 years. Like just appreciate it, be happy that we're here. But then, after the game, you're still pissed off. I'm still annoyed. I'm still pissed. So, and this is kind of the first that I've been able to talk about it. So that's maybe why I'm just popping off right now.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know if I'm pissed at all. I'm just more bummed. I don't think I've gotten actually mad about it. And I for some reason wasn't all that mad yesterday. I was more just like sad that this fun run that we had and kind of outperforming expectations for what a lot of us thought originally. I mean, if you would have told me in September that the Broncos would lose the AFC Championship game, I would have said, damn, what a step in the right direction for their season. That's really like that. That means you won at least a playoff game, maybe 2 if you're not the 1 seed. And then you kind of break it down or you get there and the goalposts move a little bit as a fan where you're like, well, we could have easily beat the Patriots scoring. All we had to score was 13 points and we would have won the game, and we were at home and we had our defense was balling. And you're like, okay, now I'm kind of bummed about it again. Like I wish I could just go back to September me with the thought that, hey, they played in the AFC Championship game. They took a step in the right direction. Now, if you'd have told me Bo Nix wasn't the one playing in the AFC Championship game, I would have been a little bit more confused and or concerned 3-4 months ago, 5 months ago. But, that's just kind of the way it worked out for him, and unfortunate, but fun time nonetheless. Fun time hanging out with you and going back to our seats that we've been at for 10, 15 years now or whatever. And, that snow game compared to the first snow game we watched together there when CJ Anderson scored the game-winning touchdown, a lot more sad emotions. Because really, yesterday, we were jumping up and celebrating the Cortland Sutton touchdown, which was 3 minutes into the game, 4 minutes into the game. And I don't think there was really, after that, there wasn't really any cause for like a legit celebration. There wasn't a turn. We didn't have a turnover. Maybe them missing a field goal, I think. And then their one punt that was like a 20-yard punt. Those were the 2 most exciting things that happened after that first touchdown and last touchdown drive.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think our roster was built to handle snow. It's not it's hard to say, but all of our weapons are not in my opinion, very reliable and very sturdy and fucking built. Cortland, I guess, kind of is, other than his hands, which have been bad lately and fucking 2 drops again yesterday. But it just felt like we weren't fully prepared for that weather. On the bright side, though, silver lining, now we can fully lock in on hockey and basketball and golf. Like, I woke up this morning legitimately like, thank God we have golf to watch. Because when football season winds down and all we have is one game left, you're like staring down the barrel of what the fuck do I watch on TV for the next 6 months until, you know what I mean? And on Thursdays, Sundays, Saturdays, everything. So thank God golf season we've got the two like warm up events out of the way. And I really feel like the Farmers is kind of the actual first legitimate event of the year. So we'll put an asterisk next to Scottie's win. So then I don't have to admit that I'm an absolute fucking idiot that said that Scottie doesn't go low and he's not going to shoot 30 under. Yes. Scottie does indeed go very low.
So let's hop into a little wrap up of this past weekend. So the American Express, Scottie Scheffler. I've actually got a very famous podcast talking about this tournament right before that I'm going to play here on the screen. So let me get to that.
Do we have the rights to this video?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Speaking, this tournament has done very well for long shots. So it's very rarely a chalky. Now, Scottie Scheffler could come in and change that and just boat race everybody. But I would even say Scottie's not the kind of dude that, don't get me wrong, far and away best player in the world right now, or close to far and away. But the best player handily, I don't see him shooting 30 under very often for 4 days. Like, he is very good in hard conditions, but I don't feel like he's that guy that also goes stupid crazy low, because he's just kind of stays in one gear where a lot of guys are up or down. He feels much more consistent. Now he's going to, like, I would bet my firstborn child that he would finish in the top 10 because that's just what he does every week of the PGA Tour. But can he go shoot, 3 rounds of 64 to win this event, or 3?
What a fucking idiot I am. What an absolute takesman. You say shit occasionally and it comes out to be wrong. In hindsight, like, I think my blind spot was we didn't see Scottie play in this event last year because he had the infamous wine glass situation cutting his hand. But this, like, we just don't see Scottie play in this many, like, quote unquote lower level events that are fairly easy and like super low scoring. He's always obviously playing in the majors, winning majors, but I fucked up. Scottie Scheffler, he can beat anybody at any time on any golf course. It doesn't matter. Like, what was it, Friday? He hit 17 greens in regulation, and the one green he missed, he chipped in for birdie.
Yeah, I was telling Kylie about that, and just in awe of the fact that you can hit 17 greens in regulation in a professional golf tournament, but B, you end up chipping in for birdie on the one hole that I missed the green, I'm still going to make a birdie. Not even just like, did he get up and down? What is this? Like, what is his scrambling stats from around like that? How many is he gaining like 10 shots on the field, or no, like 2 shots? Is his strokes gained like 2 on scrambling that day because the only green he missed, he made birdie, and he would average maybe a par or a bogey on if anyone else missed the same green. Like, I don't know how those stats work, to be honest with you. I don't know the strokes gained all that well, but I will say pretty hilarious to think that he missed one green and then ended up making birdie. Let's talk about his playing partner real quick too, because we were going to talk about it last week and I don't want to forget to talk about it this week. The insane story of the 18-year-old Blades Brown, who, for those of you guys that don't know, or you live under a rock, or you just don't pay attention to Blades Brown, which is fair, you might in 5 years, it may be a totally different story, but he was playing in, and you correct me if any of this is wrong, I'm just going from straight up off the top of my mind here, but he played in the Bahamas in a Corn Ferry Tour event up until Wednesday. He flew from the Bahamas to California to start in this event, did not get a practice round, did not, really take time to even be there and test out the course. And he goes out the first day. And was that the easiest course? And I'm saying this with quotation marks for those of you listening to the audio version. But I think
La Quinta was the easiest.
Yeah. Was that the one where he comes out and fires 60?
No, I think that was the die, if I remember correctly. So even more impressive that he did it on, the La Quinta's the one where everyone's on 59 watch all the time. Let's actually just confirm that so I don't have another just faux pas where I say it incorrectly. But I mean, I kind of felt for Blades, like it looked like he ran out of gas a little bit on Sunday. So he wasn't really able. He shot 2 under on Sunday, T18. But the dude is just unbelievable. And whose swing actually, his swing kind of reminds me of a little bit is Bryson DeChambeau's. Like very one plane, the follow through. Like don't you think both their follow throughs look like the exact same when Bryson's not swinging out of his ass, like when he's on balance? They both have that left elbow that like basically is like a picture frame, like 90 degrees in their follow through. They're right here. The club just feels like it gets delivered in the same spot every time. I mean, dude, the kid was born in 2007. How fucking old does that make you feel? Oh my God. I
was in high school at that point. I was already in high school when he was born. It's absurd. And I saw a funny tweet because he did have a putt to get to 59, which would have been one of the most insane 59. I know Jim Furyk has a few, and there's some other players that you're kind of like, when you looked through the list, I think we did that a couple months ago where we looked through the guys to shoot 59. And it's kind of a hilarious list because it's not a bunch of guys that have dominated on the PGA Tour or been unbelievable. Like I don't even know if Tiger has a 59 on tour, maybe just one, but he had a putt to get to 59, and it was not that hard of a putt. And I'm saying that for me because I would have missed it 100%. So I'm just saying that in a PGA Tour level realm, but he missed it left edge. And there was a tweet that said, all of your 20 handicap friends watching this yelling, you can't give the hole away here.
Yes, exactly. Everybody armchair quarterback in that shit. Like, oh, I would have made it. And, obviously he's legendary for being 18 and already being out on tour, but everyone still gets nerves at some point. And like literally your first PGA Tour event, not his first PGA Tour event, but it like his first in contention, and he almost fires 60 or 59, was just unbelievable. Like the dude's got all the game in the world. I actually saw a pretty funny video of him. It seems like he's got a good personality. I saw one video of him playing rock, paper, scissors with somebody over on the ropes. Like that was funny. And
yeah, it's funny because that was a kid, and the kid was probably 3 years younger than Blades. Like,
yeah,
that's it somebody his age.
100%. And then the other video was him hitting a bomb right down the middle of the fairway, and like it lands and it rolls out, and he looks at his caddy, he goes, why don't I do that every time? Like it was so easy. Like, why don't I just do that all the time? And that's what everybody thinks when they hit a great tee shot. They're like, why can I not replicate that more often? So it seems like he's got a pretty good personality, but the dude is just a baller. Like, I mean, for him to be this age and to already have this kind of level of competition under his belt and contending, like we could easily see him win on the PGA Tour this year. And then the sky's the limit from there. The one thing that is kind of crazy, I mean, he's so young that this dude's just going to keep growing. Like he's not even fully grown yet, similar to like Cooper Flagg, where you're like, this guy's 18 or 19 and he's already an elite athlete, and his body's just going to continue to evolve and grow even more, and he's going to hit it further and all of that. So just a wild showing from Blades. And the fact that he played 8 rounds of PGA Tour sanctioned golf in a row. Like I played 3 rounds on the simulator last week, and I was like, I got to take a couple days off. Like I can't keep doing this shit. And even for those guys to play 4 straight rounds of tournament golf along with a practice round beforehand every week is a shitload. So the fact that he did it 8 days in a row is unbelievable. But I guess if anybody can do it, it's an 18-year-old. Like he just wakes up and feels good every fucking day, especially because he can't even drink booze. So that he's not getting all sauced up the night before. Like I wonder if his dad still tucks him in at the fucking hotel on the road. Like He's got warm milk and cookies, and somebody's reading him a book before bed. It's crazy.
Yeah, and he got to play in the final round with Scottie Scheffler. He shot 2 over par the last day and finished at 19 under, T18 for the week. But getting to play with Scottie Scheffler, he talked a little bit about that afterwards and said nothing that we wouldn't expect. Scottie Scheffler was a great guy, was encouraging him, all that stuff, and just like what a finish to your week. What a unbelievable, not only 8 straight days of golf, or what's 8 out of 9 days of golf, because he played 4 Corn Ferry Tour rounds, had Wednesday off, and then played 4 PGA Tour rounds. Just an unbelievable, right? Or am I?
No, he didn't have Wednesday off because the Corn Ferry Tour started last week on Sunday. So he played Sunday through Wednesday, took a private jet up to La Quinta and just fucking went and balled out. But that's also like, it just goes to show you how elite Scottie is, because he could be playing with somebody in a final pairing and like cheering for them because he feels no threat. Like he's like, dude, you know, Blades could have shot like 65 that day and it wouldn't have affected Scottie one bit. Like that's just the kind of dude that he is and just how good he is. Like it's insane. So I think we get into some more Scottie numbers here, dude, because the path, Scottie officially becomes the 3rd player in golf history to surpass $100 million in earnings. The dude's not even 30 yet. He's 29. He's made $100 million on tour. The other 2 are Rory and Tiger Woods. And I will say, obviously, it's never been easier to make more money on the PGA Tour than it is right now. But $100 million on the golf course in essentially like what, 3 elite years, basically. Like,
yeah, going back to, or when the Waste Management comes up in 2 weeks or whatever, it's basically a 3-year stretch where he's won 20 times. Just in one bananas. And as I remember on this podcast, like I didn't a couple weeks ago, won 2 majors last year. When I said he wouldn't win a major at all again this year, hot take artist, and I didn't think he won one last year and won 2. But he's just so
right over here.
He's so dominant, but so boring how dominant he is that it kind of, like you said, he's cheering for an 18-year-old he's playing with. He's probably just a super nice dude. And then he's also a killer. And some other Scottie stats, which I'm sure you got some as well. The one I sent you this morning. So the official world golf ranking average point differential between Scottie Scheffler at number 1 and Rory McIlroy at number 2 is the same difference between Rory McIlroy at number 2 and Kang, who is ranked 677th in the world. And now we know official world golf ranking points. We've talked about them at length on this pod and how real or not real you want to think they are, which is fine. But at the same time, just going to that and thinking of the difference between those two is kind of a little bit unfathomable.
Oh, it's bananas. So, I mean, a couple of things that stick out to me. I'm just looking at Scottie's profile. Also, did you realize that Scottie shot 59 before? I did not realize that.
I don't remember that, but how is that possible since he can't go that low?
I know. I'm shocked that how can he do that? Like, he's one of a dozen guys in the history of the tour to shoot 59, but he's not, he doesn't go low. Yeah, fucking idiot. But so he's made 130 or 151 starts on the PGA Tour. So how many cuts do you think he's made?
151 starts.
It might be easier. How many cuts do you think he's missed?
How many cuts has he missed in 151 tour starts?
Yeah.
This is his entire career. So this goes back. Correct. Because what's funny about Scottie, and I won't take us off too much on a tangent, but like we talked about, once he won at the Waste Management, he became this thing, and now it's just unreal, which was later in his career. So I would guess he's missed 20 cuts over 151, because it sounds like he wasn't, we don't even remember him or didn't talk about him at all until he won the Waste Management that we were at. And now it's like, that's all the golf world talks about, is how dominant this guy is.
He's missed 19 cuts in 151 starts. So what is that? That's just over 10%. So if he plays in 30 events in a year, he's missing basically 3 cuts. And so guess how many top 10s he has in 151 events?
Is it crazy to say 100?
That's a little high. He has 77 top 10s. So,
Okay. So
and
over
that's
half.
including, yes, over half. And that's including his early years where he wasn't nearly in the form that he is now. But yeah, it's a coin flip whether he's going to be in the top 10 or not for his entire PGA Tour career. Like,
Yeah, and in the past, like breaking down both of these couple numbers, if you did that just since his win at the Waste Management, I bet he's 90% on cuts, 90 to 95% conversion on the cut rate, and then I bet he's of those 20 cuts he's missed in his career, I would imagine what 3 or 4 of them are in the last 3 years, if that. It feels like he just never misses a cut. I can't fathom him playing bad enough for 2 straight days to not be on the cut line unless he's going to jail. And I think did he still make the cut at that tournament?
Yeah, that was the PGA Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely made the cut. So I went back to 2021. So basically the 22 season was the year he won the Waste Management. And so this is where it kind of catapulted him. So let's go, because he missed 4 cuts that year. So that was the 22 season. 2023, he made 23 cuts in 23 events. Only 2 wins and 13 top 5s, like nothing crazy that year. And then 2024, he made 19 cuts and 19 starts. And let's see, I just clicked out of it because I'm an idiot. And then 2025, let's see how many get. And he made every single cut last year. So he has literally not missed a cut in 3 years. That's fucking insane. I didn't even realize that.
The rest of the PGA Tour is the AFC Championship and Scottie is the NFC Championship.
Yes.
It's just two separate games at this point.
100%. I mean, I'm looking back to his first year on tour was 2018. He played in 3 events and missed 2 cuts. So all of these missed cuts came, 4+ years ago when he was 24 years old. 2019, he only played in 4 events, made 3 or 4 cuts. Like just the rise to stardom that this guy has gone through, where, I mean, his first couple years, he's not struggling, but he's just like every other PGA Tour player. And then he wins that one event and everyone's like, oh, look out for Scottie. And it's like, we've been looking for the new Tiger for so long and it's just never came to fruition. And I feel like we finally have like an heir apparent. Even if he were to never tee it up again, his career is already probably the closest thing we've seen to Tiger. I mean, he just needs to do this like 15 more years, basically stay on this pace, and then he'll be he'll equate to Tiger's career, which is insane to think about. But yeah, the dude just is inevitable. Like it is truly insane and he just makes it look so easy. Like you look at everyone else and think, what the fuck are they doing? Like what does Scottie do so well that nobody else does? Like it just blows my mind. He just drives it so well. He doesn't have any holes in his short game. Like as little as he gets to use it, because he's usually hitting so many greens, but his chipping might be like the best part of his game, which is fucking crazy to think about because he hardly ever chips it. But what a deal, man. I mean, he is going to probably win half a dozen times again this year, if not more. It feels like it feels like every time he tees it up, he's going to win. And even when he's down, like I was talking to Dougie, our boy, that was staying at my place for the Broncos game. And he goes, dude, the odds are so insane. Like you can't even bet on him. He'll be down 5 or 6 shots going into a Sunday and he's minus odds. Like nobody's like this. The sports books must have gotten absolutely worked by Scottie when he started winning. And so they're unrelenting. Like they're not letting their guard down one bit when it comes to Scottie Scheffler. Like the odds are just bananas.
No, they are. And our great friend, shout out Foreplay Barstool Sports, the greatest golf podcast in the world. Riggs, I think he said he's betting $500 on Scottie every single tournament he starts. So he's already in the positive. I think I want to say I saw his slip and it was, I think, $500 to win 1,900 maybe was the payout. So not that crazy, but now you've got, four free bets essentially on him if you're just rolling it over at $500 to just try to get him to win another tournament. And one of the things that you sent me as well, just more Scottie double wristers here. So since July, he has lost to a total of 8 people in 6 months. He lost to, obviously, nobody at the Open Championship, won that. In Memphis, he lost to JJ Spawn and Justin Rose by 1. The Tour Championship, he lost to Fleetwood by 3, Henley and Cantlay by 1. Didn't lose in Napa. At the Hero, he lost by 1 to Sepp Straka and Alex Noren and Hideki Matsuyama by 2. And then Palm Springs, he did not lose to anyone again. So there's been 8 players in the last 6 months in the entire world that have put together a better 4 rounds when he's on the golf course than him. And you want me, know how I can guarantee he's not going to win tournaments? I'm going to start putting him on my card every fucking week that he starts. So this week he's gone. It's kind of fun to look at, like when we were going, we'll get into our bets for the upcoming Farmers Insurance Open. But when I was looking at the card and figuring out who I was going to bet, it was kind of nice to not have him there. It's like, oh, everybody's got a shot this week. Imagine that, and then you're looking through the odds and you're like, well, because they even have, which I'm pretty sure they probably do maybe with anyone. I'm not entirely sure how the sports books work on that front, but they have a market without Scottie. They have like a without Scottie market, and maybe we'll just start dabbling in the without Scottie market. The odds won't be as crazy to win or do any of that other stuff, but maybe it'll be a little bit more fun to actually gamble on golf when this goddamn cyborg is not teeing it up on every event that we have to bet on, and he just wins it.
For sure. A little side note, you sent this to me this weekend. Somebody bet Blades Brown second round to be the lowest score of anyone in the second round, and that hit. And I think the dude bet 400 to win 26,400, which is just bananas. So good hit on you, man. That's got to be just an all-timer. Like, holy shit. And imagine if somebody would have gone and fired 59, like Blade shoots 60 and somebody goes and does that. That would have been crazy, but pretty fun weekend overall for the American Express. I mean, whenever Scottie's in the field, it just gives it that much more juice. Like, it almost legitimizes the tournament. Like, oh, well, if he's playing, it's got to be pretty good, right? So, speaking of winning, Patrick Reed won on the DP World Tour and beat a pretty big, like, star-studded field over there. Like, I think Rory played, Shane Lowry played. A lot of these European guys are getting some of their starts out of the way early in the year over on the DP World Tour so they can maintain their status. And dominant win by P. Reed, fucking 14 under. And then my boy Andy Sullivan, who I've mentioned a few times on this pod, actually finished second. Probably his best finish on tour in a couple years. So good for him. But Patrick Reed, I didn't think he still had that dog in him, and I stand corrected. Like, he has still got the game, and he is just another short game wizard that every time he misses a green, you feel like he's got a chance of chipping it in. He's a super clutch putter. He's used that same Odyssey putter for like his whole career, it feels like, and no cheating from what I saw. Like, I think he kept it above board, at least on camera. So good for him.
Yeah, there's no scandals coming out of this. Just good golf, no scandals from Patrick Reed.
Just honest work.
As of January 26th, 2026. Whoa, 126.26. Is that today? 126.26. Look at that.
Oh, damn.
Okay. But yeah, like you said, I mean, obviously winning by 4 shots over Andy Sullivan, pretty impressive. But when Nikolai Højgaard was in the field, Molinari was in the field, fellow liver Thomas Dietrich in the field, Torbjorn Olsen in the field. Overall, Alex Fitzpatrick, not Matt Fitzpatrick, Shane Lowry, a crisp -3 for the week. Tyrrell Hatton only 2 under for the week. Rory McIlroy only 2 under for the week. So Tommy Fleetwood was in the field and shot 1 under. And then, just overall a pretty stacked field for the first event in our second event in Dubai for the DP World Tour Championship. And now I feel like I have to, and now at least it feels like there's a little bit of a reason when we go into these majors, especially the first major of the year, and talking, we got a couple months till April in the Masters, but Patrick Reed has a few more good DP World Tour events. Is he helping bolster when we talk about a LIV player winning a major? He's definitely he's got to be number 2 right now, right, in the options as we stand right now. Like John Rahm, or no, number 3. John Rahm, Bryson
You always
DeChambeau.
forget Bryson DeChambeau exists, bro.
I don't know what it is, dude. He's like the most online golfer of all time, and I just can't seem to. I don't know. It'd be so much more funny if he's just on the PGA Tour. But
I know.
Either way, John and then Bryson, and now you got to say like Reed's the third best option there on the LIV Tour when it comes to competing at majors, and especially in the Masters where he won it before.
Yeah, I feel like if I remember correctly, he's been in contention at a major or 2 since he left for LIV. Yeah, obviously hasn't won one, but yeah, there's definitely some legitimacy to that. Like you feel like Patrick Reed just kind of gets forgotten about, but he is one of the bigger names that made the LIV jump, and you never hear him hemming and hawing about wanting to come back to the tour, and like they didn't really even offer it to him. But he seems to be probably the most comfortable with like the schedule. Like he'll go win in Europe. He'll play the Japan tour. He doesn't give a shit. Like Golf Reed. His name should be Golf Reed. Patrick Reed is truly just a golf sicko that will tee it up wherever he can, whenever he can. And that's just what he's good at. Definitely better golfer than human being. That's goes without saying. He is a very good golfer. But yeah, he just doesn't give a shit. He'll go win anywhere. So yeah, I could see him, maybe being relevant. Obviously, like you said, he has a Masters standing invite for the rest of his life. So we'll always see him in that major and then see if he can qualify for some other ones. I could see him contending at a US Open just because his chipping and putting is so good. Tee to green, it's not like super special, but him around the greens is just insane. So I could see him contending down the line at some point.
Yeah, I mean, and now I think live golf coming up. I think it's this week is in Riyadh. I always fuck that up. Riyadh. But it's in Under the Lights. I'm pretty sure.
They're doing a night tournament.
I'm almost positive I saw that. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, I think you are correct. Yes, that is going to be electric. We talked about this last year, but I don't know how more golf courses have not gone to like lighting up their course. Imagine being able to play golf in the middle of the night. Like how fucking electric would that be? Obviously, you can't really have staff there working the graveyard shift in the pro shop, but I think golf under the lights is like one of the coolest things you can do.
Yeah, so it is February 4th through 7th. So Wednesday through Saturday of next week before the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is on Sunday the 8th. And it's all 4 rounds are completely in the dark in Dubai. Or is it? Yeah, I think it's in Dubai. No, Saudi Arabia. Riyadh Golf Club, Saudi Arabia. So that'll be electric. Watch it on Fox Sports and see a little go from the waste management during the day to Riyadh at night and just have a full fucking day of golf. And it probably boosts their TV numbers a bit, I would guess, because if they're doing it at night there, it's going to be a more consumable time for Americans watching here.
I was going to say, did you forget about time zones? Because they're playing it at night and it'll probably be the middle of the day here, if not early in the morning.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You're saying turn it on at night. Like, no.
Yeah. Really get the
maybe
feel.
The next night. I don't know.
Flip it onto YouTube so you can fast forward through all the commercials and shit.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Well, so Spencer mentioned we're only doing one podcast this week because I am traveling back to New Jersey on Wednesday. Once this massive snowstorm and ice and bullshit blows through there and leaves, I will head back. But we wanted to get into the Farmers Insurance. We had to make our picks a little early. But I did put together a player profile, and I think I'm going to get this down. It's not going to sound like complete dog shit. And I actually know a few things about this dude and made some notes. So do we want to talk a little about Torrey? I mean, it's on tour every year.
Let's do your player profile, and then we'll get
Okay.
into talking about Torrey Pines. And I think now you're 1 for 2. We're going to keep a running standing of this. I believe
Ford
your
had a
boy
good
made
week.
the cut.
Yeah, I think he finished like top 20 or top 30, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll double check that, but I remember seeing his name, and it's cool because you do these player profiles. You do these player profiles, and then I see a guy's name, and I'm like, oh, I know this guy now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
David Ford, he shot 7 under on Sunday, finished T13 at 20 under par.
Oh, shit.
And also, can I just say how annoying this fucking tournament was where my one and done pick, Taylor Pendrith, shoots 10 under par in 2 days and gets cut 3 days.
3 days. Yeah, I was going to say.
That's so bad.
Harry Hall made the cut on the number and then fired a good round on Sunday. But still, I mean, I think Harry Hall was 18 under and he finished like T38 or some shit. Like everybody just goes crazy low at that event. So my player profile this week is AJ Ewart, Ewart. And I did that because there used to be a lady on the LPGA Tour named Jody Ewart. And so I kept seeing this name and I was like, are they related? They're not. So there's a fun fact, not related to this chick that I thought could be. But he's this Canadian dude. He's from Coquitlam. It's Coquitlam, British Columbia. Oh God, my voice is just disappearing as we speak. So his dad was a golf pro growing up. So that's how he got into the game. But he's from BC. Like, you can play a lot of golf out there, but it's, not ideal weather conditions. Like a lot of these kids getting PGA Tour cards grow up in Florida or Texas or Arizona or California. And it feels like we're starting to see more like Canadian dudes get out on tour. So that's pretty cool. But he's 26 years old. So young dude, 6 foot, 180. He almost, I don't want to misspeak here, but he almost looks slightly Asian. I don't know how to put it. I think he's got a touch of the Asian in him. But I was kind of curious because I saw his name on the leaderboard this week. He didn't end up having that great of a finish. I think he finished like 13 under because he played like shit on Sunday, but he was in the top 20 for the majority of this week. And I'm like, where's that name from? So that's kind of where this came from. But he played D2 golf at Barry University, which, if I'm not mistaken, is in Florida. I think. You want to do a little fact checking on that? Barry University with an A.
Barry University. Miami-Dade County.
Yeah, okay.
Private Catholic institution founded in 1940.
Okay. Yeah.
6,825 students.
I know that Barry has perennially been a very good Division II team. I've seen that they've won some national championships and shit. So, but he won in, I want to say, in 2022, he won Division II Jack Nicklaus Award, which is Division II Player of the Year. So he was the D2 Player of the Year in college, which is pretty cool. But then a couple years after that, he was kind of bouncing around. It looked like mini tours. It looked like he played some on the Americas Tour, which he actually fired 59 in an Americas Tour event in Canada, in Victoria, British Columbia, in 2020. Yeah. So he can go stupid low. But so what I didn't realize is he won Q School this last year. He was the medalist at Q School, had only played in one PGA Tour event previously, where I think he Monday Q'd or something like that. So won Q School. And then this year he's off to a decent start. He made this cut and had a decent week. But he said he's really good at NBA 2K. So he's like one of these newer generation kids that, and I got to give a shout out to Canadian. There's a website like Canadian Golf or some shit like that. Basically like the Canadians version of the USGA, or I don't know, but they do all these player highlights, and there's just not that many like big name players out of Canada. So they highlight these players, and they did like a whole questionnaire about like, oh, your favorite this, you're like, what's your favorite thing about British Columbia and like all this stuff. So just highlighting all of his career stuff. But I just thought it was pretty cool. I mean, the dude looks like a baller. He's got all this confidence now after winning Q School this last year by multiple shots. So another Canadian dude out on the PGA Tour. He's only 26, so he's got plenty of road ahead of him. But we're going to be seeing his name a lot this year, considering he's got full status. He'll be playing in almost everything. So kind of a cool story where Division II guy, not a huge name coming out of college, goes and wins Q School, and here he is with a PGA Tour card.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the leaderboard. So he did finish at 15 under this past week. He shot only 2 under on Sunday, but your other guy, Davis Chatfield, your first ever player profile, made the cut and shot 13 under this week. So all 3 of your player profiles making the cut at PGA West for the American Express, dominated by Scottie Scheffler. Let's turn the page to this coming weekend with the Farmers Insurance Open. This one is actually at Torrey Pines. So this will be at Torrey Pines this coming weekend. Great golf course, consistent golf course on tour, of course. Host some, they host majors, right? It's like kind of random, but once every couple of years or 5-6 years, they host the US Open. Am I correct? So do they play? I don't remember, but do they play the Farmers that year too, and then just turn around and host the US Open?
They do, I think. Yeah. So like 3 or 4 weeks later they host, or no, they don't. I think when they play the US Open, they move the Farmers somewhere else, if I'm not mistaken. So, but I was looking up the stats because we go from one of the easiest tournaments of the year where everybody's firing off stupid low numbers to probably one of the hardest tournaments of the year, non-majors. Because last year, can you tell me who won this last year?
No, I know Matthew Pavon won it 2 years ago, didn't he?
Well done. Wow, that's super. What memory hold that?
I think I was looking them up. I was looking up my past, doing my super in-depth research of past champions to pick this year's winners on my card.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So Harris English won it last year at 8 under par, and we only had, let's see, there was only 25 dudes under, or 24 guys under par for the entire tournament last year.
Well, yeah. So I'll piggyback onto that. So the course scoring average last year was 73.69. So almost 2 shots above par. It was the second hardest of the 50 courses on the PGA Tour last year.
What was the hardest? Do you know?
I do not know, but I just know this was second.
No,
that's all.
I just know number 2.
You know what's funny too? I was just doing a little bit of research on the golf course. Shout out to Steve Bamford, golfbettingsystem.co.uk. There is only 2 holes. There's only 1 hole on each, both this Torrey Pines South and Torrey Pines North, that has water in play, which is kind of insane to think about for being a legitimate ocean golf course.
Yeah.
You have one hole on each course with water in play.
No shit. That is crazy. I mean, unless you hit it off the map into the ocean, which is
I've done
a doable thing.
A time or two.
You've got the entire continental US to the right, and you fucking decide to hit it left into the water. Like, my God, that's an all-time line for one of the caddies. But they're playing it at almost 7,800 yards at sea level. Like, think about that. That's fucking insane. I was looking at some of these par 4s, just thinking about how many driving irons and hybrids I'd be hitting into these second shots. I don't know how firm it's going to be, but there is truly like maybe 1 or 2 like gettable holes out here where you feel like you need to make birdie. I mean, 18 is the gettable par 5 that a lot of guys go for. That's definitely a birdie hole, but even the par 3s are long. I know Greg Gomez, our good buddy, has played Torrey, and he said it was the hardest golf test. But they do kind of then dumb it down afterwards because it is a public golf course, and they don't want people out there taking 6 hours. But for this tournament, they grow the rough up. They truly do kind of mimic US Open conditions. So it's always a super good test. And that kind of plays into where you need a really solid guy like Scottie Scheffler. I mean, other than Scottie Scheffler, it feels like Harris English, for example, winning. Just really solid tee to green, good putter. You got to bail yourself out because with these long par threes and shit, you're going to be missing greens. You're not going to hit, 15, 16 greens around. So it always shapes up to be a good week. It's this, like I said earlier in the pod, this really feels like the first week where it's like we're into the PGA Tour season. You know what I mean? Like this kind of kicks us off with a legitimate big event that then we parlay in the Waste Management, and then then the Masters is around the corner. So it's just getting through January basically is the toughest part of the PGA Tour schedule.
Yeah, exactly. And then it hops right into the Waste Management and some other, like a lot of guys playing. And let's talk real quickly about Brooks Koepka and what you expect from him this week. Like, I expect him to not be good. I'll just be honest. I would love for him to be good, but I just don't expect it. Like on a tougher golf course. Now, maybe since he is a major hunter, maybe he just tricks himself into thinking this is the US Open at Torrey Pines instead of the Farmers Insurance Open. So he's got a shot, but I don't expect, I would say if I had to put a bet down on make or miss the cut, I think I would lean towards missing the cut.
I would agree with you there. Probably. I do not think, especially with the hype that's going to be around him making his first PGA Tour start back. Like you said, and this is not a hot take. It could go one of two ways where he contends immediately and it feels like he never left and he's rejuvenated by being back on the PGA Tour, or he's got a lot of rust to kick off because, shocker, he hasn't played a lot of golf these last 2 years relative to a lot of other PGA Tour pros, kind of how LIV operates. So I do not think he's going to have a good week, but I hope he proves me wrong because ultimately when when Brooks is in contention, the PGA Tour is a better product for it. So haven't I done that before where I can't stop saying Bryson instead of Brooks?
I don't remember, but I can't remember Bryson, and you've just got him in your mouth all the time. So I guess it's a fair trade-off at this point.
It is pretty fair. Should we make our betting picks?
Yeah, let's get into the massive, important betting picks that we know win every single week here on Big Drive Energy.
I have to make a quick note here. JT Poston was very close to finishing in the top 10 this week. He played like shit on Sunday. Otherwise, he would have had a top 10, and I actually wouldn't be down another 3 units. So fuck me.
JT Poston. All right, here are those picks. Dun, 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 dun. I am going with Max Homa to win this event. Kind of rounding into form a little bit. Kind of a crazy pick, but California kid, one of the California events. I feel pretty good about him at plus 5,000. And also, I don't know where you got your odds. I don't know if you're still drunk when you sent me your text with all the odds.
I get them on DK.
I went to Bet365 and all of the odds were way better. So I gave you these way better Bet365 odds. Shout out to Bet365. That's where I do my golf betting. Wyndham Clark plus 850 to top 5. All of his big wins are at big important courses. All of his wins in general on the PGA Tour are at kind of heralded golf courses. He's won obviously an Open or a US Open championship in California, even though it was a Mickey Mouse US Open. He did win it, and he is plus 850 to top 5. And then a guy that's healthy out of his back surgery, really into this year and coming into this year back with a vengeance, even though he turned down some LIV offers, or so was said. Will Zalatoris plus 350 to top 10. He had a good week last week. Like I said, nothing from his back is still hampering him. He's good to go, ready to rock, and one of the more fun players to watch on the PGA Tour, I think, when he's got it going. The putting is always an adventure, but one of the best ball strikers out there. So I'm going to go with him to top 10 at plus 350.
I like those picks. I actually was considering taking Wyndham to top 10 because he is in pretty good form right now. He had a good week this last week. Max Homa, I don't know if TGL is preparing him for what he's about to face at Torrey Pines, but he is a California kid, so I do think he's got that going for him. Siwoo Kim, I'm picking plus 2,700 to win. He's just been good these last couple weeks. He looked like, if it wasn't for Scottie and a rough day Sunday, it looked like he was in contention this last week, had a really good shot at winning. And I think he played well at the Sony as well. So he's had a couple of good weeks. I just hope he keeps it rolling, but knowing my golf betting luck, he will shit the bed and miss the cut this week. The Then I've got Andrew Novak to top 10. He is looking to have another good year this year, and he finished like top 5 at this tournament last year. So good finishes, and oddly enough, like he's not a long hitter by any means. So I don't know what it is about Torrey that he plays well. So, and then I've got Marco Penge, the dude that we've talked about to some extent. One of the longest guys out here, getting his a PGA Tour start at Torrey, which is such a long golf course. He bombs it. I just think it's kind of a match made in heaven for him. I think he's going to play well here and really take advantage of the distance. So I think sprinkling plus 6,000. Penge could end up being one of the dudes, and we can clip this because it's probably going to be wrong, but you never know. He could be one of the dudes that the sports books are laid on. And we've talked about where we feel like European players don't get quite as much love from the sports books just because more people just don't know these guys' games. So they do kind of fall a little bit lower on the odds list than the American guys. But I think Penge could come out and kind of have a good foothold on the PGA Tour here in the next couple months. So I'm going to try to hop on the train early before he's plus 2,500 to 3,000 to win these events.
Yeah, Marco Penge, he'll hopefully bring some of my, for one of my 26 predictions for the year, or my 13 to make 26 between the two of us, is that some of those guys from the DP World Tour top 10 will win PGA Tour events. So we could get one of those out of the way pretty quickly here with the Marco Penge win at Torrey Pines. I'm really like sinking my teeth into golf this week. Now that football is officially over for us, like normally the last, whatever years the Broncos haven't been in the playoffs. So it's been like, okay, it's over in January 3rd or 4th, whenever that last game is. And you watch the NFL playoffs, but it's like dive into golf. Now it's like, I'm going to be up early as shit on Thursday morning watching at Torrey Pines, especially it's a great golf course, great tournament. Good to have Brooks back. It'll be interesting to see when the pairings come out, what kind of pairings he gets. I can't imagine that there's going to be anything favorable in terms of he's not going to play with any of the big guns. He's going to be with maybe like an amateur and maybe a dude from China that Monday queued into the field or something. Like I feel like they will do that a little bit to him, but it'll be fun to see and fun to watch. So let's wrap this pod up on a Monday with the Mulligan Monday. Mulligan Monday is, of course, one of our favorite segments that we do every single Monday. Basically something in our lives that we wish we had a mulligan on. Not too many of mine. Honestly, yesterday I dressed really well for the Broncos game, and I was really proud of myself because for how cold it was, I wasn't all that cold. I had the face mask. I had the thing that went over the back of my neck. I had a onesie on. It was electric. I was very warm, but I'm going to give my Mulligan Monday, which I think he would take this as well, to Coach Sean Payton for not kicking that first field goal and just giving the Broncos a 10-point lead in that point of the game. I think he would much, much prefer that mulligan and kicking that field goal and seeing where the game goes after that. But of course, it's sports. It can only happen once. There's no redos. But Sean Payton's getting my Mulligan Monday this week.
I like that. Yeah, he finally admitted that he had regrets. Like I think, was it Kliss that asked him if he regretted, or no?
It was D-Mac.
D-Mac, yeah. And he was like, "Oh yeah, there's plenty of regrets." He didn't exactly own it, but he in Sean Payton's version, he owned it. So my Mulligan Monday was, I was hanging this picture, not this picture, in our master bedroom. It's a canvas.
That one behind you is a little crooked, by the way.
Well, no, I think my camera's crooked, unless Dougie Sr. fucking knocked the wall in here, which is a good possibility. But I was hanging this picture, and I obviously had a hammer and a couple nails, but my toolbox is locked up in a thing in our garage, like a storage unit in our garage. And so I was too lazy. I was like, oh, I can get this done without like a measuring tape. And so I was trying to measure shit with like a Kleenex box. I Googled how long is a Kleenex box. And then I was using this Kleenex box. I'm like, okay, it's 3 boxes from the left, and it's got to be like 3.5 on the right. And it ended up being a clusterfuck. I misnailed. I definitely did not nail in the right spots. So then I had to go down my lazy. And that's the thing, is when you try to take a shortcut and make something quicker and easier, it just ends up taking you longer and being more frustrating. I'm like, why didn't I just fucking do it correctly in the first place? So I went down, I got the measuring tape, I sorted it all out. and I got it hung and it looks good now. So, but yeah, I was like, you just such a dumbass. Like always, why you cutting corners here? Just fucking, do it the way you're supposed to.
There's a measuring app on your phone. Have you ever tried to use that? It's kind of electric.
I thought about that. No, because I use the level all the time to see if shit's level or not. But no, I did not use the measuring app. So I'm kind of a boomer when it comes to that. I'm like, oh, how correct is this? And it's probably 110% correct. I have never used it before. So I am just kind of a lazy piece of shit sometimes, I guess.
That happens to the best of us. Well, thanks for tuning in to this lazy piece of shit podcast, Big Drive Energy. We'll be back next week. Mitch is traveling on Wednesday. We gave you your preview for the Farmers. We're going to be watching the Farmers all weekend long, the first official weekend without any legit football, especially considering Shadur Sanders got named to the Pro Bowl. There's definitely no legit football coming out this weekend. Next weekend, Super Bowl, of course, Waste Management coming up. We've got a lot of fun golf tournaments to talk about. We will be back next Monday, most likely back to our normal time, 2 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you're following us on all the socials at Big Drive Energy and Big Drive Energy Pod on Instagram. Give us a like and subscribe, that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel. Make sure you get all of our live shows right in your inbox or popping up on your YouTube when you can. Have a great week into your weekend, and we will talk to you next Monday. Peace.
Peace.